My name is Rachel Morgan and I'm 29. 3 weeks ago, on a random Thursday night, my boyfriend looked me in the eye and told me I had to babysit his sister's 3 kids every weekend indefinitely, or he was leaving. I let him go. Saying it out loud still feels dramatic, but if you'd lived the past 2 years as I did, you'd understand why I decided so quickly. For context, my ex-boyfriend Ethan is 27. We had been together for 2 years, living in my condo for the past 8 months. I bought the condo 3 years before meeting him. He joked that I was ahead of the curve, while he was still figuring things out. In reality, I had my life together, and he was happy to drift as long as someone else handled the practicalities. When we met, he was paying too much for a shared apartment in a rough part of town and constantly complaining about rent, roommates, and saving money. I suggested he move in with me to save money. That decision ended up being a huge mistake. Our agreement was simple. He would contribute a modest amount to utilities and groceries with no rent since I owned the condo outright. It seemed fair. I make good money and didn't need him to split everything 50-50. I just wanted effort and partnership. He agreed immediately, of course. At first, he paid on time. By the second month, he asked to pay later, citing a tight month. I shrugged it off. By month 6, I'd received maybe half of what he owed. I stopped asking. I didn't want to feel like I was demanding money from my boyfriend. I told myself I was being generous and supportive. I was also covering his phone, most groceries, streaming services, and letting him drive my old Honda Civic since his car was gone and he didn't want payments. Last month, I even helped pay off $1,200 of his credit card debt so he could start fresh. I convinced myself it was fine until his sister arrived. Ethan's sister, Melissa, moved back to town 6 months ago with her 3 children, ages 3, 5, and 7. These kids are extremely unruly. The 7-year-old threw a remote at my TV, breaking it. The 5-year-old treats walls like coloring books. The 3-year-old screams at high volumes. Melissa doesn't discipline them. She claims she's gentle parenting, but in practice, it's letting them destroy things while she scrolls on TikTok. Every visit left me cleaning up broken items, smudges, and sticky fingerprints. Ethan would shrug and say, "They're just kids. Relax." That Thursday night, we were watching TV, and I was finally decompressing after a 50-hour work week as an operations analyst. Ethan muted the show. "We need to talk," he said. I paused. "Okay, what's up?" "My sister needs you to watch the kids every Saturday and Sunday." I laughed, thinking it was a joke. He didn't smile. "She and her boyfriend want to go clubbing on weekends. The kids cramp their style." I stared at him. "You're not serious." "I'm completely serious," he replied. "You're off weekends. You're just sitting around anyway. Step up, help family." "They're not my family, Ethan. We're not engaged," I said. His face went cold. "So that's how you see us, not family?" "I'm not babysitting 3 kids who destroy my things every weekend so your sister can go out," I said. "She needs this," he insisted. "She has a boyfriend. Why isn't he watching them?" I asked. He stood, shoulders squared. "You need to decide what kind of woman you want to be, the one who helps or the selfish one. If you can't do this for me, maybe you're not ready for a real relationship." I stared at him. He had been living in my condo, driving my car, and I had helped him financially in multiple ways. And now he was presenting babysitting his sister's kids as the ultimate test of my character. "Let me get this straight," I said calmly. "If I don't babysit every weekend, you'll end the relationship?" "I'm not threatening. Step up or get out." I nodded. "Then I'm out." His jaw dropped. "What? I'm not doing it. If that's your line in the sand, we're done. You're seriously choosing to be alone over helping a few hours?" "I'm choosing not to be voluntold to babysit indefinitely. There's a difference." He grabbed his phone. "You'll regret this." "Cool, start packing. You have until Sunday," I said, walking to the bedroom and locking the door. I heard him call Melissa, frantic. I sat on the bed, heart racing, questioning if ending a 2-year relationship over this was right. Then I pictured the chaos his sister's kids would bring every weekend. I realized I wasn't leaving over babysitting. I was leaving over his sense of entitlement. The next morning confirmed it. At 7 a.m., Melissa pounded on my door with all 3 kids. "You need to watch them today," she said. "No," I replied. She blinked. "What?" "Ethan doesn't live here anymore. Neither do your childcare problems." "You'll work it out," she insisted. Not happening. Goodbye, I said, starting to close the door. She blocked it with her foot. Are you serious? She snapped. Yes. Move your foot, I said evenly. They're just kids, she hissed. Then let their dad watch them or hire a babysitter. It won't be me. The 7-year-old tried to dart past me. I blocked him. Melissa scooped him up and glared at me. You're a key, I said quietly. My brother deserves better. He had better. She finally moved and I closed the door. I leaned against it, shaking but clear-headed. This wasn't just about babysitting. It was about entitlement. For the first time in a long time, I chose myself over their demands. I knew I wasn't going back. I spent Friday at work replaying everything. By evening, I had accepted it. I ordered takeout, ate half, then focused on removing him from my life. I packed his clothes, toiletries, and gadgets into boxes methodically, keeping everything intact. I reminded myself of his words, step up or get out. Apparently, he didn't know me well. By midnight, all his belongings were boxed. I slept hard that night, exhausted. Saturday morning, the apartment was quiet. No noise, no clutter, no reminders of him. By 10 a.m., a locksmith changed the deadbolt and garage code. I called the building desk. My ex was no longer a resident, and anyone not approved by me, including Melissa, needed my confirmation before entering. They didn't ask questions, they just noted it. Practical boundaries on top of emotional ones. Sunday morning at 10 a.m., my phone rang. The building's number flashed. Miss Morgan, Ethan is here with 2 women, his mother and sister. Should we let them up? I hesitated only briefly. Yes, I said. Let them up. I have his things ready. A few minutes later, the doorbell rang. I opened the door but didn't step back. Ethan stood there, bloodshot-eyed like he hadn't slept. Melissa was beside him, arms crossed, ready for confrontation. Behind them, a woman in her late 50s, Ethan's mother, with his eyes and Melissa's jawline, followed. They all tried to step forward at once. I lifted my hand. Stop, I said. You're not coming in. His things are right here. Their eyes drifted to the stacks of boxes inside. Ethan looked at them, offended. You packed my stuff? Yes, I said. You told me to decide. I decided. Clothes, toiletries, the random junk drawer, everything. Take it now. His mother stepped forward, voice soft but firm. Young lady, you can't just throw him out. I didn't throw him out, I replied calmly. He gave me an ultimatum. I made a choice. He has until the end of the day to collect his things. Ethan's eyes were red, as if he had been crying. For a moment, something tugged at my chest. Then Melissa spoke. This is insane. All he asked was for a little help with the kids. You're throwing away 2 years over babysitting. I looked her in the eye. He demanded I babysit 3 children every weekend indefinitely. That's not a little help. That's free labor. They're kids, she said. You're supposed to love them like family. I'm not family, I reminded her. Your brother and I were dating. I let the past tense hang. 2 years doesn't make me a built-in nanny. His mother shook her head. You've been together 2 years. You don't throw that away over something so small. I didn't throw it away, I said, nodding toward Ethan. He issued an ultimatum. I just refused to comply. I didn't create this problem. I responded honestly. Ethan's voice was rough. Can we talk alone? No, I said. We can talk here. You've got 15 boxes to carry down and the clock is ticking. You're not listening, he demanded. About what? I asked. How I'm selfish for having boundaries? How I should sacrifice weekends indefinitely? Or how your sister's social life is my responsibility? Melissa stepped forward, jabbing a finger. You're pathetic. A real woman would. I cut her off. A real woman establishes boundaries and doesn't let people take advantage of her. Finish your sentence. She sputtered, unable to continue. I dropped my tone back to calm. Everything of his is packed. Take it now. Anything left after 6 p.m. goes to donation. Your choice. They exchanged looks. For a moment, I thought Ethan might refuse, but practicality won. They began hauling boxes. She had 3 trips to the garage. His mother muttered each time, You'll never find anyone as good as my son. Family helps family. This is what happens when women get too independent. I didn't respond. I held the door, let it close each time. On the last trip, Ethan lingered. I can't believe you're doing this over something so stupid, he said quietly. It's not stupid to you, I said. You ended our relationship over it. You said, step up or get out. I got out. I didn't mean it like that, he protested. You don't give an ultimatum unless you're ready for the other option. You weren't. That's on you. He looked past me into the condo, memorizing the space he had been living in on a discount. Can I just come in and talk? No, I said. Not a good idea. You'll regret this. Maybe, I said, but I'd regret staying more. They left. I turned the new deadbolt. For a long moment, I stood in the quiet, listening to my own breathing. The apartment felt empty, but not heartbreakingly so. It was like removing a heavy backpack I'd forgotten I was wearing. My shoulders ached, but they were free. I walked through each room, noticing my space for the first time. Couch, table, shelves without his clutter, my bedroom with only my clothes left. In the bathroom, I spotted his old razor behind my skincare. I packed it into a small box with a sticky note. Forgot this. I made tea, sat on the couch, and waited for sadness or loneliness. Instead, I felt relief. Messy, complicated, adrenaline-tinged, but relief. For the first time in months, Sunday belonged entirely to me. The relief didn't last. By Monday, the harassment began. 4 texts from Ethan. Can we talk? You're being dramatic. I love you. Please stop. I didn't respond. By noon, the tone shifted. You think changing the locks is legal? You're ruining everything. I wasn't ruining anything. I was finally cleaning up a mess I'd ignored too long. That evening, a note from building security. FYI, your ex's sister tried to come earlier. We didn't allow her access. I stared at it, then discarded it, but my jaw remained tight. This wasn't over. Next morning, a Venmo request from Melissa, $400 for childcare fees. I laughed, declined, and sent a note. That's not how reality works. 10 minutes later, another request for $600, emotional distress. I declined again, then blocked her. Surreal. Later, the phone rang from an unknown number. I let it go to voicemail, but after several calls, I answered. Ethan's voice, stressed and frantic. We need to talk about the car. The car? I said. The same car I'd let him use for 8 months, insured, fueled, and maintained. I need it for work. You can't take it away. You borrowed it. Borrowing ends now. Return it by Friday at 5 p.m. or I'll report it stolen. Silence. Then you're insane. It's not stolen. You let me use it. Now you're unletting me. Friday, 5 p.m., I said. I don't have another car. Then buy one. I don't have the money. Not my problem, I said. A strangled sound came from him. You can't do this. Actually, I said I can. I hung up. He called back 14 more times. I didn't answer once. Wednesday morning introduced a new complication. My work phone rang. Corporate line. I answered, expecting a vendor. A deep voice boomed. What you need to do is apologize to my daughter. I blinked. Who is this? This is Ethan's father, he said, puffed up with self-importance. You owe my son an apology. You embarrassed him. You owe him a conversation. I don't owe your son anything, I said calmly. Or you. This conversation is over. Young lady. Click. He called back. I sent it to voicemail. Later, I listened to a rambling message about respect, family loyalty, and stopping childish behavior. Delete. A dull ache formed at the base of my skull. His family wasn't just entitled, they were a coordinated unit of chaos. Thursday, it escalated. Security called. Miss Morgan, your ex's sister is here again, demanding access. Do not let her up, I said. She is not a resident. They didn't. She apparently threw a tantrum in the lobby, loud enough for complaints. I only knew because 3 acquaintances sent screenshots of Melissa's public Facebook rant, accusing me of alienating the family, holding Ethan hostage, keeping him from his support system. I rolled my eyes. Comments were split. Half said I was selfish, half said, she doesn't owe your kids a single minute. Hire a babysitter. I didn't reply but took screenshots. Evidence, just in case. By Friday, I was ready for the car showdown. At 3 p.m., Ethan texted from a new number. I can't bring the car today. Need more time. Me. Nothing to discuss. 5 p.m., Ethan, you're being unreasonable. I need transportation. Me, Uber exists. Ethan, what if I literally can't make it? Me, then at 5:01, I report the vehicle stolen. Silence. You wouldn't. Try me. At 4:57 p.m., his tone shifted. I'm here. I went to the garage. He stood next to the Civic, jaw tight, throwing the keys in my direction. When I approached, he tossed them. They clattered on the concrete. You're such a... He cut himself off, jaw flexing. I picked up the keys without breaking eye contact. Thanks, I said softly. He stood there, chest rising and falling. Can we talk? Really talk? Not angry, just us? No, I said. You're really gonna throw away 2 years like nothing? You threw it away, I reminded him. With your ultimatum. It wasn't an ultimatum, he insisted. I was just upset. I needed you to step up. Your exact words, I said. Step up or get out. So I got out. His face twisted. I miss you. I miss us. Can we fix this somehow? No, I said again. We can't. Maybe we can compromise some weekends? No weekends, I said sharply. None. Zero. I am not and will never be your sister's free childcare. Melissa needs help, he said weakly. Then she can ask her boyfriend, hire someone, or ask your parents. But she doesn't get to volunteer me, I replied. He swallowed hard. Right. Exactly, I said. And now we both live with that choice. I opened the car door, slid in, and closed it. He stood in the rearview mirror, crying, shoulders shaking. I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, no guilt. Just calm, clean emptiness. I put the car in reverse and drove away. That was the moment I knew. Nothing left in this relationship was worth grieving. The following weekend was strangely peaceful, quiet in an almost artificial way. I should have known it wouldn't last. Monday morning, I arrived at my favorite coffee shop, part of my ritual before, during, and now after Ethan. Vanilla latte, emails, 15 minutes pretending life wasn't chaotic. I had just taken my first sip when someone slid into the seat across from me. I didn't need to look up. Melissa. Disheveled hair, dark circles, the brittle tension of someone convinced everyone else was the problem. We need to talk, she said. No, I said without looking up. We don't. You ruined my brother's life, she shot back. I raised an eyebrow. Your brother gave me an ultimatum. You didn't have to take it. I exhaled slowly. Step up or get out. What do you think that means? It's a coupon I can redeem later? You're twisting things. She jabbed her thumb at herself. My sister needed help. You could have supported her. You could have supported us. Finally, I looked up. You mean free childcare, I said. Say the words. She crossed her arms. You were part of the family. No, I said. I was dating Ethan. Even if we were married, I still wouldn't give up every weekend so you can go clubbing. That's not what this is about, she hissed. Really? I said. Great, let's find out. I sipped my coffee. Where are your kids right now? The question landed. She blinked. What? My 3 children. Where are they? My boyfriend is watching them? She snapped. I tilted my head. Interesting. And is he their father? Oh, no, she said. So, I said, sitting back, your boyfriend can watch your kids on a Saturday morning, but I, who share no DNA with them, was supposed to give up every weekend indefinitely for your convenience? Her jaw clenched. That's different. How? I asked. She opened and closed her mouth several times. You're twisting things, she said finally. No, Melissa. I'm pointing out you demanded a free service through your brother, enforced with an ultimatum. Her facade cracked. She looked exhausted, the chaos she created coming back around. She stood abruptly. You're heartless, she said. My brother loved you. No, I said quietly. Your brother loved the idea of a girlfriend who'd babysit every weekend. She froze, eyes flashing. I hope you're happy, she spat. I'm peaceful, I corrected. There's a difference. She stormed out. I took another sip of my latte, hand steady, heart calm. The next few days were quiet. Then, an unexpected email arrived from Ethan's younger sibling, someone I barely knew. Hi, Rachel. I just wanted to apologize for my family's behavior. Ethan told me the whole story, including what he left out. The ultimatum, volunteering you for babysitting every weekend? Yeah, Melissa is entitled. You dodged a bullet. Good luck. I stared at it, surprised by the validation. I replied simply, thanks for reaching out. I appreciate it. Vindication wasn't the point, but it felt good, like someone quietly turned on a light in a dark room. 2 days later, grocery store. Halfway through the frozen foods aisle, I heard a familiar laugh, deep, warm, casual. Then his voice, Ethan. I turned. He was with a woman I'd never seen before. Cute brunette, smiling, familiar with him. His face froze when he saw me. Guilt, embarrassment, panic? I wasn't sure. The woman looked at me politely. He turned away, continued shopping, silent. And I realized, standing there between frozen peas and pie crusts, he had already found someone new. Or was trying to. Maybe both. It didn't hurt. What washed through me was closure. Whatever we had ended the moment he chose his sister's convenience over our relationship. That night, I cleaned my apartment, not because it was dirty, but because I wanted to. Organized the pantry, rearranged plants, lit a candle Ethan complained about. Lavender and cedarwood filled the air. My shoulders relaxed. The space felt mine again. I made tea, sat on the couch, put on a playlist I loved, and felt genuinely good. But just when I thought the saga was ending, my phone buzzed with a new text from an unknown number. Melissa, hope you're happy. My brother's already moved on, found someone better. I stared at the message, then typed back, "Good for him. I'm happy too," and I meant it. Not with bitterness, not with spite, just truth. Her response was immediate. "You're such a cold-hearted bee." I blocked the number without replying. As the screen went dark, a thought settled in my chest like a final puzzle piece clicking into place. Ultimatums reveal people, not the ones they pretend to be, but who they truly are. And I had finally chosen myself. For once, that was enough. After blocking Melissa's number, I set my phone face down on the coffee table and leaned back. The apartment was quiet, warm. For the first time in a long while, there was no storm outside the door. No raised voices, no simmering tension, no walking on eggshells to avoid triggering entitlement. Just me in the silence. Peace. The next morning, I woke naturally. No alarm, no clatter from Ethan in the kitchen, no pre-work chaos. Sunlight streamed through the blinds, brushing my face with a soft reminder, you're free. I brewed coffee, stood barefoot in my living room, and looked around a home that finally felt like mine again. Relief started subtly, then surged, warm and steady. By midday, I realized something strange. No missed calls, no unknown numbers, no long, angry paragraphs from his mother. The quiet held. I hadn't realized how conditioned I had become to expecting drama, flinching at my phone, bracing for accusations, emotional ambushes, or manipulative guilt trips dressed as family values. I stepped onto the balcony with my mug and let the cold air bite at my skin. My mind traced the past 2 years. Every moment I swallowed discomfort to keep the peace. Every weekend I gave up for Ethan's convenience. Somewhere along the way, I had mistaken accommodating someone for loving them. And in the same breath, I realized Ethan had mistaken using someone for being supported. By Wednesday, I was reclaiming my life. I fixed the broken screen door, painted the spare room the soft gray I'd always wanted, and cleaned out drawers, stuffed with tangled cords and random odds and ends Ethan swore he'd use one day. The apartment felt lighter. Everything did. I even slept better. No tossing and turning, no listening for someone coming home late, no waking to cabinets slammed at 2 a.m. Just rest. Real rest. Thursday during lunch, I met my friend. "You look radiant," she said. "Are you seeing someone new?" I laughed, avoiding someone old. She sipped her iced tea thoughtfully. "Good. He never treated you like a partner." "I know," I said quietly, but I didn't realize how bad it was until I stepped away. "That's how it always is," she said. "Storm's loudest when you're inside it." I smiled at the truth. We talked for nearly 2 hours, catching up on normal life things, not crisis things. It felt good to be more than someone's unpaid emotional laborer. Good to reclaim pieces of myself I hadn't realized I'd given away. That night, clarity settled fully. I sat on the couch with a notebook, something I hadn't done since college, and wrote down truths. Real ones, the kind you only see once the fog lifts. Ultimatums aren't invitations to negotiate. They're warnings. Ethan had shown exactly how he viewed me, with conditions attached, my value measured by what I could provide. Boundaries aren't selfish. Being exploited is. I had spent months giving, bending, accommodating until there was nothing left. Love without respect is just dependency in disguise. Ethan didn't want a partner. He wanted convenience that looked like partnership. Peace is worth more than companionship every time. The silence in my apartment was worth more than any apology he could offer. Friday morning, the final piece of closure arrived via voicemail from someone I didn't recognize. "Hi, this is Amber from Premier Auto Sales. Just confirming we've listed your Honda Civic at the price you gave us. We've already had interest and will update you when an offer comes in." I smiled. A week later, the car sold for $4,200, $700 more than I had offered to Ethan. That alone covered my broken TV, the locksmith, and left a few hundred to spare. Not every part of a breakup has to be painful. Some parts can be oddly satisfying. By the third week post-ultimatum, the noise had finally died. No calls, no Venmo requests, no surprise visits, no tantrums in my lobby. His family had moved on, and I had moved on to myself. The final moment of clarity came one night in bed, listening to the soft tick of my bedside clock. Ethan had made me feel like my time, my home, my weekends belonged to everyone but me. But now, my time was mine. My weekends were mine. My home was mine. I hadn't realized how much I'd been drowning until I stopped holding someone else afloat. If there's one thing I learned, it's simple. When someone tries to volunteer your time, home, or peace without asking, that isn't love. It's entitlement. Entitlement grows when you feed it. Ultimatums are masks for manipulation, and when someone hands you one, they're showing who they really are. Sometimes the bravest, healthiest, kindest thing you can do is walk away, even if they call you selfish, cold, or the villain. Better to be the villain there than the doormat in your own life. 3 weeks ago, Ethan said, "Step up or get out." I chose to get out. And walking out wasn't the end of something, it was the beginning of peace, clarity, and myself again.